We now move over to the NFL, and we have a retirement of sorts to tell you about. Bruce Arians of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has retired from the coaching ranks, but he will be moving up to the front office to keep on keeping on up there. And due to that, you have one of the guys I've been singing the praises of lately. Todd Bowles is back in the head coaching ranks. Had a 4-year run with the New York Jets. I believe he was 24-40, but who wins these days with the Jets? How about no one? So you had that going on, but Todd Bowles, after joining Bruce Arians in Tampa Bay, we know the job he did against Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl, and probably not quite as good a year with the Bucs defense last year due to probably some injuries thrown in there, but definitely one of the more respected defensive minds, and he gets another opportunity. So there's 3 levels to this. We got Bruce Arians moving on. But not only that, not only the retirement from coaching, we got the movement to the front office, and now we have Todd Bowles. What do you make of it?
Well, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Yes, Tampa Bay has met all requirements with the updated running rule. And to be honest, I think they was going to meet the requirement regardless. I think once they made this decision, it was going to either be Todd Bowles or Byron Leftwich. It was going to be one or two. It just was a matter of how did they see the future going, and what did Tampa Bay want from the future. Clearly, everybody was on board with this because Bruce Arians moving to the front office. If they weren't on board, I'm pretty sure Bruce Arians would be going to play on the golf course or somewhere. They're bringing them to the front office, which means this has been a discussion amongst management and, the coaches or whatnot for a little bit. They just had to find out how to roll this package out while all trying to hold in the fact that Tom Brady coming back, et cetera, et cetera. Listen, Jay, I said this like weeks ago. It probably before Tom Brady decided to let us know that he was unretiring. I was wondering why the hell Bruce Arians was still on the roster. Why was he still the head coach? I got it, Super Bowl winning coach, but this old man was starting to trip me the hell out. He just does things, and I'm like, how is this reasonable? Slapping players on the helmet while the game's still going on, like he out here pulling Antonio, like this whole back and I don't even know if it's true or not, but the fact that he's in this story is crazy to me because I just don't think a lot of head coaches would be in some back and forth with a player while the game is going on. And then, like, he told me to take my stuff off and leave, so I did. And Bruce Arians like, I told him if he wasn't going to play, then he needs to leave. So he left. Like, that just sounds kind of funny for a coach. So I just thought this old man kind of out of his depth. It might be time for him to move on. And he did. And thank you for that, Bruce. But I don't know what they got him doing in the front office. Maybe something similar to what Tom Coughlin was doing, like one of those gentleman jobs up there where being old kind of benefits you. So I think we got that. But now that's the end of the Bruce Arians. That's the end of the Bruce Arians tenure. Now we're bringing in Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles, like you said it. Is this Todd Bowles' second or third time?
I think this is really his second head coaching job. I think he was an interim for the Dolphins for 1 year, but I don't really think we're counting that.
Okay. So Todd Bowles get to come back in. And then what I like about all this is you didn't have to, it's almost similar to what the Saints did. You didn't have to like do this mega coaching search and go and, roll out the red carpet. It was just kind of like, it reminds me of my like workspace almost. Like in my workspace, like when people start moving around, they always try to hire within because it's just so much easier to retain people that know what's going on. I like how they did this. If you actually pay attention to how the Buccaneers offseason went, they signed some people, but it wasn't nothing crazy. All the most important pieces, I think, what I consider important, they took care of. The Tom Brady's, the Leonard Fournettes, Bruce Arians, Todd Bowles, Byron Leftwich went to go interview for the Jaguars. Like, they figured that out, and then they brought it all back. So I think you have to give credit to that GM for Tampa Bay. I think he did a good job. The owner for allowing all this to go and not letting it go off the rails, like some teams probably would have let it go. And now you got to look. Listen, with all this in play, we seen what happened with Green Bay this offseason thus far. Tampa Bay was a team we kind of had question marks about, but I think they more of a tighter contender than Green Bay is at this point. So, I mean, listen, I know we love us some Aaron Rodgers, but I'd like to see what he's gonna be throwing to before I put them back in the mix. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I'd like to see what he's throwing to. At least I know Tom Brady still got Godwin, Evans. They finally let OJ Howard go, but Brady, I would assume Gronk is going to come back. You still got, a couple of other guys, and then they signed. Who's the new guy they signed for the Bucks? I had him on.
Are you talking about Russell Gage?
Russell Gage, there we go. I had him on Tim. I know we brought him up in the last show, but then they signed Russell Gage, which is a nice, third option. Very good third option, actually.
Probably won't leave the game in the middle of it. Yep.
Yeah. I don't think you're gonna have a back and forth with the head coach with him, and I definitely don't see him doing jumping jacks in the end zone while the game going on. That's just me. I might be out of my depth, but I don't think we see it any of that. So, with that said, man, like, listen, I can't like, express how like impressed I am with how Tampa Bay handled all this, right? It could have been messy. It could have been sloppy. It could have been this, that, and third. The Rooney Rule, this, that, and that. They checked off all the boxes while just going. They ain't worried about the Rooney Rule. They ain't worried about Tom Brady being retired. They ain't worried about Bruce Arians leaving. They ain't worried about some of their people on the roster leaving. They just kind of just chugging along. Chugging along. So right now, man, I just want to say, and no, these are one of the questions you usually ask, like if this is a rapid, you'll be like, what's one of your favorite Bruce Arians moment? And right now, I would have to say it had to be that crap he pulled in the playoffs when he went and slapped the guy on the helmet while the game was going on. That's gonna be my number one Bruce Arians moment. Because I felt like he was like this old man that lost his medicine for a minute and forgot where he was at. Like, I don't know what he was thinking about, but I felt like he lost his mind for a minute. And even the player was surprised when he was like, what are you doing? Like, yo, get back over there, dude. What are you doing? Like, why are you touching me on the field? And I still don't know why he didn't get a penalty for that. Because the game was literally still going on. They was undoing a pile, and Bruce Arians out here like the 13th man on the field doing that mess. So, yeah, Jay, that said, I thought he was going to retire. He finally retired when, semi-retired, whatever. Going to the front office. Todd Bowles get his crack. I would like to see, because I haven't seen any announcements on who's going to take over as defense coordinator for him, which would tell me that Byron Leftwich is going to stay in his spot. So everything considered, man, hey, the Bucs sure looking top 3 in the NFC right now. What say you?
Yeah, I thought as soon as Tom Brady announced that he was coming back out of retirement after that short little sabbatical, I thought instantly, yeah, Tampa Bay's right back in the thick of things, just like they have been since Tom Brady arrived. Bruce Arians leaving the coaching ranks. I think there may be something to what you're saying about maybe he's a little too out of his depth a little bit. Some of these guys get older. We definitely saw it with Tom Coughlin. There comes a point where you're so far removed from the lingo and the lifestyle of some of these guys that it's hard to get on the same page. And maybe that's a little. I can't be critical of him and having a problem with Antonio Brown, because God knows he ain't the first person to have a problem with Antonio Brown. Now, if you're talking, now I get what you're saying. You're talking about the way he handled it in the public, and they look back and forth. I understand it, but I also think Bruce Arians is a different personality. That's probably not the way most coaches would go about that. But the Andrew Adams, I think that's the guy that was slapping in the back of the head. Now I get all that. That's something probably 20, 30 years ago wouldn't have said nothing about. In this day and age, we have to maybe launch a formal investigation. Now, I do have to say I find it somewhat interesting that we're moving up to the front office. I don't know exactly what he's going to do there, but probably going to have him a nice chair and get good hot coffee for him, and going to be still wearing a little hat, like he likes to wear that. I don't know what he's going to do though. It's just like one of them things like all right, man, I'm leaving. I'm done with coaching. Hit me up with the consultant job tomorrow, and I'll be there bright and early for you. But I got to say, look, Todd Bowles is deserving of this. When you talk about, what discussions went in, I think they had, Bowles and Leftwich were, to me, and really the past 2 off seasons, both of them, were probably hot commodities among, prospective head coaches. Somewhat odd that they didn't get looks or didn't get a job before this. I kind of see it a little bit with Leftwich, because Leftwich still, he has that little bit of maybe just not yet. You'd like to see a little bit more. I'd like to see him post Tom Brady, but now we got to wait for that even longer. And I think Bowles is the guy to, when you talk about win right now and keep the kind of the line moving. And even though Todd Bowles, I said his record was 24-40. The Jets, I never looked at them, as a complete joke, as I kind of do now. Like, it seemed like Bowles kind of they still look like a professional outfit. I always thought they played hard for him. And I think that says a lot. I think Todd Bowles is going to get a lot out of this team. I think he'll get the most out of him. He may, I guess it remains to be seen about the defense. He may continue to call the defense. The thing I do have to say about it, that I think the timing of this is a little odd. And what I'm talking about here is, we know early this week we talked about these Rooney Rule enhancements. And you got to have a minority, offensive assistant or whatever. But we know the whole theme of this, the whole theme of the Brian Flores lawsuit is the whole point of it, more minority head coaches. And I'm going to say this about Bruce Arians. You can say whatever you want about Bruce Arians. The one thing it looks like Bruce Arians has kind of been at the forefront of is, hey, man, I don't think he seemed kind of proud, and not saying there's anything wrong with it at all. There's nothing. I mean, maybe that's the way to go. But he got 2 black coordinators. Seemed like, hey, I got that flag. I'm toting it around. And I think he was also among the forefront of hiring women. And now we see women are at center stage in these enhancements, or so they call them. So I say it's a little sketchy, because it seemed almost somewhat convenient that about 2 or 3 days after these enhancements come down, that old Brucey Bruce, as you say, is, you know what? I got something for you right now. I'll go ahead and take a promotion to the front office, and I won't have to wear that little that heart monitor or whatever on my chest, because my blood pressure will be a little bit down. I ain't dealing with all this crap on the sideline. And Todd Bowles, you take the job, and we've automatically upped the percentage of black head coaches. Thank you very much. I am the most virtuous of them all. I'm just saying, it sounded a little sketchy to me. The timing don't seem quite right. Listen. And again, I'm not mad at it, because Todd Bowles deserves to be a head coach, but the timing is a little bit interesting.
All I'm saying is somebody got to do the dirty work. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, he said, listen, I'm on out.
But you know what? It's better than people like Steve Nash, who jumped the line completely, and then right after you get hired, they talk about, yeah, man, I'm all about getting more minorities in head coaching jobs. Well, Are you really? Well, Bruce Arians, at least he come out here and set the example. I want more black head coaches. Oh, good. Well, I'll step aside. Not aside. I'll actually step up or not. But hey, you can have the big headset now.